Some of you may have come home from school today feeling like this. Some of you may be wondering if you missed some vital piece of information or a tip or a strategy in college because teaching's just not working out the way that you thought it would. Some of you maybe even had a professor or a cooperating teacher in student teaching that made you think that if you just did stuff just like they did, you'd be on the fast track to Teacher of the Year. And the hard truth that many of you are figuring out right now is that there are no one-size-fits-all solutions in education. When I started co-teaching, my co-teacher had this incredible ability to just stare at a class and they would get quiet. It was like he was using some kind of magic, like he was 6-foot-tall willow, I don't know. And so when I started teaching, I did exactly what he did. If the kids weren't getting quiet, and I'd ask them several times, I'd put my hands behind my back and I would stand there stoic and I would let them know, I'll wait. And I might as well have just said nothing. They just were willing to let me wait. They didn't care. And I had to figure out a solution for that. Now, the beautiful thing in education is that if there is no one size fits all, that means there's no mold. So for all of you that were concerned about breaking the mold, you don't even have to do it because there wasn't a mold to begin with, so there's nothing to break. The great thing is that you have something that no one else has. And that might be hard to believe right now, but I want you to think about that. You have something that no one else has. And so, of course, the next question you're thinking of is, Reynolds,
what do I have that no one else has?
My answer is, how in the world should I know? I'm not there with you. Megan?
Are you talking to me?
Megan just got really creeped out right there. That kind of freaked her out. But seriously, what is the thing that you have that no one else has, or at least a combination of things that no one else has? And so when I was thinking about this, especially as a very young teacher, I really had to consider things like thinking about how I came up, the experiences that I had been through. I went to a really difficult school. Some would argue the worst school, no kidding, in South Jersey. And I couldn't fight. So I had to figure out how to use my words to get me out of situations. When I was 4, I lost my dad to brain cancer. And that became something that created someone in me, let this person out that was incredibly empathetic, incredibly sympathetic, and could sit with people that were going through something similar in a way that many of my friends just couldn't because they didn't understand. I had a weird sense of humor. I still have a weird sense of humor.
No one was laughing.
It drives my family crazy most of the time, but that was it felt like a superpower to be able to laugh at situations, to be able to kids laugh when they were hurting, to make things that were fun in the classroom. Because the other thing was, I never did well in school. I always flew under the radar and I never excelled in any subject, not in any real way. I maybe excelled because I was good, but I wasn't good at anything. And so these were some of the things that I pulled on when I became a teacher, when I got my own classroom. It was looking for those kids that were hurting. It was looking for those kids that flew under the radar. It was trying to make class fun. It was helping kids to smile in school and to just have, not as sucky of a time as they think they're going to have. So my advice to you in this next season of your teaching journey is to figure out what some of that is. Remember, everything you've gone through in your life was cross-training for this moment. And with that in mind, and once you start kind of thinking about some of this stuff, I'd like to give you 4 pieces of advice I think might really help you out once you start kind of exploring some of these things and exploring yourself. 1 is to try everything. I think that if I get a great idea, I got it for a reason. And so it's mine to waste. And so if you're afraid of kind of trying something, just think, it can't get any worse and you probably won't catch on fire. Unless you're a science teacher, and then just be careful, man. If things are really, really bad in your class, you've got nothing to lose anyway. Number 2, fail fast. There's nothing worse than a slow and agonizing death. I've never been through that before, but I've seen it in the movies and it looks horrible.
I'm still alive, only I'm very badly burned. So if you could just...
If you try a lesson, if you try an idea, I'm not talking about being wishy-washy. I'm saying if something clearly isn't working, trade it out. Get rid of it. Try something new. The faster you fail, the faster you can try something new and look for the thing that is the perfect fit for your class. 3, especially on those horrible days, find a kid that thinks that they're invisible and let them know that you see them. Let them know that they matter. It can change an entire day. If classes are really, really bad and you're really struggling, look for those kids. Don't say the whole class is horrible. You need to look for the kids that want to learn. Look for the kids that might give it an effort. Look for the kids that might try and teach them. Start there and build your way out. We have a whole video about this coming out, I think, next week, so keep an eye out for that as well. Fourth thing might seem self-evident, but it really isn't. A lot of teachers don't do this. It is ask for help. And if they don't answer you, go and ask again. The squeaky wheel really does get the oil, but it doesn't get fired. And I'll tell you why. Because teaching is one of those things that everyone thinks that they are supposed to be great at when they first start. And the fact of the matter is, you are not. It is a craft. It is something you need to get better at over time. So ask for help. Ask your coworkers, ask your admin, ask in our Facebook group or friends online. Get a mentor if you have to. Something we don't talk about very much is that on our website, realrapwithreynolds.com, you can go on there and sign up for mentoring calls with me. But if I'm not the right fit, find someone that is. I'm saying this because I mean it and because I believe it with all of my heart. You are enough and you can do this. If somebody else that came from the same place that you came from, that feels like you have felt, has figured it out, then you can figure it out as well. Sometimes before our class gets better, we have to get better. That's it for now, gang. Peace.